タコこっちに来る。まずは一匹。
He was, and still is, a worthless bum, living in his mom's house as an adult virgin with no goals or ambitions. One day, however, he found himself filling out some stupid survey about his mom, with the final question asking if he would embark on an adventure with her. He decides to ignore it, not knowing this very action would soon cause him to be teleported into another world alongside his mother in order to further their bond as mother and son. This game is Episode 1. Sitting around in his mom's cheap house as an adult virgin, our protagonist, Ma answers some random survey about his mother. She notices him ignoring him, so she inspects his paper, but he pushes her off, keeping to himself. The final question asks if he would get closer by going on an adventure with his mother. As expected, he answers it, putting, not sure him really not knowing why he would answer the strange question. Following this, some girl named Shirarase enters his house and explains that she is in the cabinet office. Ma asks who she is and how she got in his house, but she keeps on talking, telling him she is here to talk about his relationship with his mother. Ma's mother attempts to start talking, but she shuts her up, claiming she needs to leave so she can speak with Ma. For some reason she leaves, thus allowing Shiraras to inform Ma that he has been selected to enter a new world alongside his mother. He tells Shiraras he has no clue what she is talking about, but before he can proceed, she spams some random numbers on his computer. After doing so, he begins getting teleported into this new world, making him think it's finally his chance at getting some play. As he leaves, he tells his mother that he is happy to find. He then enters the new world and finds tons of fairies flying around him, making him overjoyed. He thinks it's finally his chance to lose his V-card and meet some cute girls, not knowing what's soon to happen. Soon after, his mother appears behind him, asking why he didn't unload the dishwasher. She explains that she came here to join him on his adventure, making the virgin enraged. After this, he heads to the king's castle, where he asks if Ma's mother is single. She informs him that she is single, but she is here with her stupid son Ma. He then registers Ma into the system and tells him he can no longer change it. Now with him registered into the system, it asks various questions about his class. Now that Ma has done all of this, he asks the king to explain what's even going on. The king informs him that he is in a closed beta for a game using technology he can't explain, with a goal unavailable to know just yet. After learning absolutely nothing from the king, he tells them they will now go to get some legendary skills. The only thing about this game is that he was chosen based on the survey he picked. This game is called an MMORPG, a twist-up from the usual MORPG. He also gave Ma a specific class that he is unable to change, making him locked into this world. Before we continue, let's take a moment to answer the question of the day. Would you play this online MMORPG game with your mom? Comment down below for a chance to be shouted out in the next video. Now, back to the recap. The king explains that this game revolves around his relationship with his mom. They then enter the room where the legendary swords are held, with Mai being able to pick one of them. He thinks long and hard, knowing the sword he picks will decide his fate as a hero. Now with him having this weapon, he plans on advancing and leading the world. But he's suddenly stopped when his mom emerges to pick a sword. He assumes she can't take one, but instantly, she whips out both swords, claiming she didn't want to let one of them be loaned to practice and learn more about their skills. Ma's mother whips out her swords and begins using her skills to easily defeat the monsters. After her, Ma goes with high expectations, but only gets a single strike, taking out one monster. Upon seeing this, he wonders why his sword is only basic attacks, while his mother gets multi-hit overpowered skills. She assures him he was super cool with his attack, hoping to make him happy. This only angers him more, so he begins telling her that she should just leave him alone, claiming she will be fine on her own. She tries to reject this offer, but he persists, telling her the second she came into this world, his new life was ruined. He asks her if she knows what's really going on, her spending time with Shirarase before they entered the game. He demands that she tell him what's happening in this world, but she denies his request, thinking it was just a coincidence she came along with him. Following this, he continues to press her, ordering her around and demanding she tell him everything that happened. She tries to hide it, but spills a bit of what went down, causing him to get enraged and threaten to disown her. This causes her to start crying, wondering why her bastard son has to be such a prick to her. She tells him that she just wanted to come into this world to be friends with him, begging him not to disown her. This makes Ma realize how much of a prick he has been, so he gets on his hands and knees, begging her to forgive him. She decides to accept his apology and move forward with their adventure, leading to them partying up. Now, with the two officially a team, they head to the first area, where there are various game characters, making Ma overjoyed. Although most things seem done, there are a couple of people without their faces being coded. The duo then head into the Adventurers Guild to register as adventurers. Before they enter, Ma's mother sends in an attack at the guild for some reason, hoping to prove her strength from the start to the guild. After doing this, Shiraras emerges before them, welcoming them to the guild. She then registers them and gives Ma a list of adventurers he could take into his party. Instantly, he starts looking for the hottest girls rather than discerning their skills, causing his mom to join along. She asks him for his type, hoping to finally get his stupid son a girlfriend after bumming around her place every day. Episode 2. After this happens, the few adventurers came by an interview alongside Ma and his mother. With her being super particular in choosing, she ended up rejecting all of the candidates. That was until a girl named Porta emerged, who happened to be a test player much like how Ma is. With her main skill giving them access to discounts at any store, she is essentially a walking discount. On top of this, she has an item storage to let her store anything they need, along with an appraisal skill. Upon hearing all of these skills, he assumes she is the perfect fit, her also being a non-combat type. Without hesitation, they welcome him into his party with Ma's mother, asking Porta to become his bride. Ma questions what she is talking about. He then inspects some more applicants to find another worker, where they inspect someone named Wise. Although she looks strong, she wrote a nasty letter along with it, claiming to curse them if they don't end up picking her. This causes Ma to begin talking about how rotten she must be, eventually thinking it would be a waste to choose her. He tries to toss the paper out, but it straightens itself out and runs back over to the table. This angers Ma, so he throws it on the ground and steps on it, eventually forcing her to reveal herself. Considering Wise turned herself into the paper, she ended up hearing everything he said, and all the harmful things he said about her. Being filled with anger, she uses a spell on Ma, thus sending him into an open field alongside her. Here she stomps on his face, telling him that she feels much better now that she has stepped on him. Instantly, she switches up and tells him this is her favorite place to go to, but Ma ignores her, asking her to get a move on. She agrees and gets off of him, thus causing him to ask what she wants. He asks why she wants to join his party so badly, wondering if she has the hots for him. This makes her blush, so Ma decides to just do the interview here and now. He tells her to sit alongside him, but eventually moves over, thinking she reeks. While this happens, his mother and Porta question what to do, Ma being lost in this world. She asks Shiraras to watch over him and explain if anything happens to him. Shiraras agrees and explains that he will be fine, considering Wise also joined as a test player. As they talk, Wise explains that she was also forced to come into this world with her mother as well. She explains that the MMORPG in this game stands for Mom's Massively Maternal Multiplayer. Ma thinks she is lying to him. He asks what she is talking about, so she explains more about the game to show she has been here for a while. Eventually, he decides to hear her out some more, so he asks what the goal of it is. She informs him that everyone was summoned with their mothers in this game in order to get closer with them. Although she has no clue how to win or leave the world, she knows you just need to get close to your mom. With this being revealed, Shiraras also explains to Ma's mother that this is the objective of the game. She informs her that if she has any wishes as a mother, she will surely get it answered in this world. On the other hand, Wise tells Ma that since she entered this game, she's been split up from her mother. Because her relationship with her mother is soiled, she asks Ma to let her mother take her in as her daughter to escape. Meanwhile, Ma's mother raises her sword, asking the world to bring her to find Ma, with hopes that he will let her talk with him. After doing so, the air begins to light, and the others are thrown into the sky, thus revealing Ma's location. By finding them, Ma's mother ended up getting a search skill to allow her to find Ma no matter where he is. After this is done, Wise is brought to prison for attempting to PK Ma. He explains that it's because of her actions that she is here, showing no remorse despite talking with her. Ma's mother tells her that although she can't bring her into her family, she can join their party. With this being the only way he can escape, she is forced to agree. Now, with a stacked party, they head to their first dungeon in order to make some money and level up in the process. Because it's dark down here, nobody knows what's going on, eventually forcing Ma's mom to use a spell to make a light. By showing her motherly love, she starts glowing, thus allowing her to gain another skill called Mother's light. The group then explore the dungeon until they eventually arrive at a room that looks like a boss room. Within an instant, a bunch of slimes begin emerging before them, causing Wise to think she should show them what to do. As she tries to cast her spell, they are attacked with a spell, thus sealing Wise's magic. Now, with her being completely useless, it's up to Ma and his mother to solve things. Following this, Ma's mother sends in an attack, eliminating all of the slimes within an instant. On top of this, they ended up dropping tons of gems, allowing Porta to finally be of use, collecting everything like a little squirrel. As they inspect this status window, a load more slimes appear before them. The slimes then emerge into one large monster, causing Ma to run over to save his mother. But the slime ends up attacking his mother yet again. While this happens, Wise is able to break out of the bind and strike back, but it does little to no damage against the slime. To counter all of this, Ma's mother whips out her sword and begins attacking the slime, taking it out with a single strike. After finishing things up, she puts on a lewd apron. On top of this, the fallen slime ends up revealing a large pile of gemstones along with a coffin. Inside of the coffin is Shiraras, for some reason causing Wise to revive her and see what's going on. Shirarasi stands up and tells them she is the mysterious nun who wanders the world. She also thanks them for defeating the monster who bested her, thus allowing her to grant the others a quest. She tells them to head to a small farming village on the outskirts of the world, showing she isn't completely useless. On their way to the village, they stumble upon various goods, causing Ma's mom to go on a shopping spree. Episode 3. The next morning, after some shopping, the group decided to have breakfast together. With Ma eating food cooked from his mother, he never assumed it would be like this in this new world. Even Wise is stunned by how good the food is, claiming it's been years since she had anything this good. Before they leave, they check out some armor pieces where the merchant presents an explicit piece of armor. Ma tells her not to even try it, but she ignores him. With it protecting absolutely nothing, he wonders how this is even considered armor. After some time, she picks a robe of healing that most healers use, so they suggest this to her. With it being a perfect fit, his mother decides to try it on despite it not fitting into her class. With it being the least revealing outfit out of the few she tried on, she ends up trying it on but never gets it, leading them to head to the next town. When they arrive, the village leader informs them there is a monster going around and demanding for the hottest guy to have her way with. With her wanting to use him as her own plaything, they need a sacrifice by tonight, asking the heroes for help defeating her. After hearing all of this, Ma accepts the request and agrees to help defeat the villain. That night, to wash up before heading into battle, he takes a bath, but ends up finding his mother joining him, asking her why she is here with him. For some reason, she then lets him motorboat her, causing the other two girls to enter the bath as well, thinking the coast is clear. Wise is a bit hesitant to get in, so Ma's mother assures her everything will be fine with her in here. With this being said, she strips down and enters the bath as well, making Ma in here with all three girls. As Wise attempts to ridicule Ma, his mother blackmails her into saying she will become her mother if she acts good. She continues doing this, so they begin talking about the Empress of Night that they are supposed to fight. Ma wonders what this monster is, asking the girls if they know anything about it. Because they already took the quest, they will have to fight it regardless. Wise then begins talking about the Empress, explaining all of its skills and how to beat her. With her being so informed, they question how she knows all of this, so she claims she is her blank. She almost says it's her friend or family member. As she talks, Wise stands up, making her reveal herself to the others, causing Ma to stop her before she strikes him. He asks Porta to prepare healing items and tells Wise to get it over with, knowing what she will do anyways. Upon hearing this, she stops herself and stops attacking, eventually running out of the bath in tears. Later that day, Shirarasi looks around and finds the Empress of Night standing before her, with tons of men around her. With her asking Shiraras what she wants, she reveals herself as a complete menace, informs her that she will have to remove her from the game for how she has been acting, but she Empress shows no fear. When Shiraras takes her from the system, nothing happens, causing the Empress to reveal her true power. With a snap of her fingers, she sends Shiraras flying, showing that she has gotten access to the system's powers as well. With her having a daughter in this game, she tells Shiraras she has no plans on leaving just yet, with her main quest not being cleared. She then knocks out Shiraras, leaving nobody to stop her. The next morning gets dressed until he is approached by Wise, explaining that she wants to talk with him. She rushes him out, so he ends up running behind her, falling on her in the process. In the perfect moment, his mother emerges before them to see these events unfold. Everyone asks her if it's about her mother, revealing her mother is the Empress of Night if you didn't suspect this already. She tells them her mother is the worst, having spent all of her money in the real world on clubs. With her naming Wise after one of her favorite bouncers, She feels as if she was a joke from birth. She ended up living with her father until she was summoned into this world alongside her. Although they tried to have fun together at first, her mother soon left her and ended up growing a reverse harem. Once this is all revealed, they decide to take her out that night, approaching her as she waits for tonight's sacrifice. Episode 4. Before all of these events happened, Wise had woken up in the morning where she had been forced by her mother to play. She told her that neither of them can live unless they get along together. At first they played together, but her mother started using weird spells and laughing menacingly. Ever since this happened, she told her she was done with her, thinking she was way too crazy to play alongside her. Since this day, she hadn't seen her mother again, thus leading us back to the present. When she wakes up in the morning, she wonders why she was sleeping only for Porta to inform her she was sleeping all day. Ma tells her she was sleeping like a lazy bum, asking what her job was in the last life. This enrages Wise, so she begins using her spell on Ma, spawning in the Death Reaper. Later that night, they found another coffin and decided to open it up. Yet again, it was Shiraris telling the group that she had faith they would come to save her. With her being impaled by some random branch, she ended up dying again. Now with her being revived yet again, Wise asks for her help in making their relationship with the Empress better. Shirarasi talks like a weirdo and tells them that first Wise is a player out of control, pursuing her own hobbies. With her being an embarrassment to the family, she claims that she has unlocked every single spell within the game. This makes Ma realize he wasn't the only one who had a hard time at the start. On top of her knowing every skill in the game, Wise's mother also has a skill that allows her to cancel out any spell coming her way. With her using a cheating tool to adjust the system to make her invincible, she's been able to force even NPCs to follow her. Considering the amount of damage she has done, Shiraris informs Wise she has raked up 100 million yen worth of damage. Because of this, she decides she needs to put a stop to her as soon as possible without delaying any further. Now, with all of this information done, they set out to find the Empress with hopes of resolving the situation. Ma thinks it would be best to talk with her to start, knowing if they act rudely, then it will only hurt them in the long run. Shiraras then informs them that it's time for them to head over to the Empress, activating her ultimate magic. With her having admin authority, she is able to teleport the Empress straight to them. When she appears before them, she has 5 men fanning over her, making Wise embarrassed. She asks her mother what happened, but she wastes no time attacking first. Using a single spell, she encases the entire forest in flames, forcing Wise to strike back. She sends in her strongest attacks, which put the flames within the forest out. Following this, Wise's mother begins controlling all of the trees and throwing them in their direction. With this turn of events, Ma's mother decides to take the lead this time, striking all of the trees down. As this happens, Shiraris ends up dying instantly, forcing them to have no way to properly defeat the Empress. With not even Ma being able to destroy the trees, he soon learns that it will be him and Wise against the Empress. She informs them that, thanks to her cheat skills, she is able to manipulate the area around them, thus making an invincible barrier that can never be broken. She then summons in 3 spirits, who happen to be her controlled monsters, that she thinks will be enough to take out the duo. She tells them that if she wished to take out this world, she could do so. Wise tells her mother to stop acting so crazy, but she begins yapping to Wise about how it was her who left her. With Wise being the one who separated herself from her mother, Wise's mother tells her that she should have never had her, feeling impaled that she did. After hearing this, Wise attempts to apologize, but she shows no remorse for her. Now, with only Ma standing, he questions what he can possibly do, having seen his friend get knocked out. Ma then talks about his own mother and tells her that he would never act like this even if his child was mad at him. He asks again for her to forgive Wise, reminding her they are flesh and blood. Despite hearing this all, she shows no remorse, asking him if he thought it would be that easy to convince her. She then sends in another strike, but it is narrowly blocked by Ma's sword. Eventually, amidst the fight when Ma is about to be finished off, his mother emerges. She tells Wise's mother that no matter what happens, she would never abandon her child. She claims it's a mother's duty to protect their child no matter what happens. With this being said, she informs Wise's mother that she should show some remorse and stop being so stubborn. She feels bad for her, knowing she is missing out on the bond that a mother can have with her child. To force her to remember, she claims that she will take her own. Upon hearing this, Wise's mother informs her that she has everything she could desire in this world, thus making her think there is no point in helping her. She also informs her that she has a son she can always smile at, referring to Ma. With this being said, he stands back up and decides to help her in battle, thanking his mother for being how she is. After seeing this, Wise's mother gets ticked off, so she ridicules them, thus forcing Ma's mother to strike first. She sends in various attacks, making her question how she was able to get so many powerful attacks. Despite this, she still has her invincible defensive magic. Then suddenly Ma throws out a sphere that blocks the Empress's magic, thus allowing Ma and his mother to strike. They rush towards her and claim she should show some empathy for her daughter, asking how she can call herself a mother. Once they knock her down, Wise sends in her attack, but it is stopped when the Empress begins flying away with some demonic wings. Now, with her on the ground, Ma tells his mother to finish her off, leading to more multi-hit attacks. After falling to the ground, Wise runs to her side and apologizes, asking her to make up with her rather than continuing to neglect her. Now, with the battle having been completed, they have a celebration despite Wise and her mother still arguing alongside each other. Despite them fighting like this, they did end up getting closer, thus allowing her mother to leave. While she leaves, Wise stays behind, telling Ma she is staying to make sure he doesn't die in battle, hiding the fact she is in love with him. As they walk to their next quest, Shiraris emerges before them. She informs him that she has another destination for them to go to, shining her eyes of light into the distance. Now with this decided, they continue forward onto the next area with high hopes. Episode 5. On the way to their next quest, Ma prepares himself to launch an attack, but is overshadowed by his mom, one shooting all of the monsters in front of them. While resting, Ma and Wise engage in conversation, wondering why they are even needed with their moms being so strong. During this time, a blimp drops a quest regarding recruitment for an academy that Ma shows interest in, hoping to end his loner life. He wonders if he should try it out, but is hesitant. After realizing he will get some alone time from his mother, then he doesn't wait any further and heads straight towards the academy. Upon arriving at the academy, Ma bangs into some hot girl, claiming to have not seen her in front of him. He decides to help her up like a beast, only for her to introduce herself as Medi. As she talks with Ma, her mother emerges before him and demands he explain what he is doing talking with her daughter. With her realizing he is a test player, she starts talking for Medi, asking her if she has completed many quests thus far. She continues yapping about how great she is, eventually causing Ma to get ticked off by how loud she is. Following this, they enter class and are explained by the professor of what they will be doing. Firstly, the professor tells them he couldn't get the faces animated in time, so he has to make do with these fill-in NPCs. As he talks, Medi, the girl from before, enters the class. She apologizes to Ma for all her mother's yapping and fantasizes about it being fate that they are in the same class. Ma dreams of his life with the new girl until the yapper approaches. She tells everyone she will be acting as an observer in this class, telling the professor not to mind her. She then trash-talks Ma for being random, asking if he is stupid enough to go to class in a game, until she eventually sits down for the class. They then participate in a game for SP, of which Medi answers all of the questions correctly, hence taking all of the points away from Ma. As the day goes on, Medi's mom stops all of the other members of Ma's party from answering the questions from her different antics, eventually putting them all to sleep. With how crazy she acts despite them being in a social setting, he begins to realize how much better his mother is than Medi's. He comes to appreciate his mom for not being as crazy as Medi's is, and vows not to talk bad about her any further during his lifetime. After awakening from their slumber, they question how Medi's mom was able to put everyone asleep without chanting a spell. Ma is then interrupted by a speaker announcing a new heroine for him to hopefully join his harem for it, only to be his mom. With the arrival of his mom, he cries tears and asks why his mom is wearing a schoolgirl outfit. His mom tells him she wants to look cute for Ma, only for him to be interrupted by Shirarase, and then Wise and Porta, all expressing that it was obvious that it was going to be his mom. Shiraras expresses that because it's a game hoping to strengthen the relationship between mom and child, that she is allowed to enter the school under the pretext that it's a game for all ages. Ma questions why Shiraras brought her mom there, to which she explains that there's a problem within the school that she and the GM can't solve. Agreeing to solve the mystery, they move on to the classroom, and he tries to get his mom out of his class. His mom introduces herself, and the professor is affected by her kindness, allowing her to participate in the class with Ma. Medi and Ma's moms introduce themselves to each other, and Medi's mom realizes that Ma's mom is powerful. The professor gives another question to which Medi's mom attempts to put the class to sleep again. Ma's mom unconsciously blocks the spell, and Medi seems to be angered by her mom's antics. Ma's mom then answers the question that the professor proposed and gets it correct. Ma's mom continues to embarrass him by providing weird answers to the questions the professor gives. At the end of class, Ma's mom ended up getting first place in the class with Medi trailing behind at second. Medi's mom is not happy with this and tells her she needs to do better. Ma and his party are all at the lowest rankings with almost 0 points. Episode 6. In a hurry, Ma leaves first thing in the morning hoping to make a new friend, thus leaving his mom behind. He encounters Medi on the way to school only for her to be interrupted by Medi's mom unleashing an attack, breaking their greeting short. Ma's mom eventually catches up to Ma along with the rest of his party, ending his happy morning. The professor then tells the class their next class objective to gain SP, cooking. Wise feels it a waste of time while Ma tries to see the bright side of it and calls upon Porta to bring some items out of her storage. Wise attempts to cook the eggs along with the others and makes some trash, much like Ma. Medi cooked the best meal out of anyone, thanks to her mom casting a spell on the butchered eggs. Ma, hoping to get a bite of the eggs, takes a bite only for it to taste terrible. Amidst the chaos, Ma's mom takes the lead and cooks her own food, impressing the professor and increasing Ma's abilities. After making this soup and giving it to the classmates, they succeed in cooking. To reward their success, the professor gives them 20 SP each, to which Medi's mom is jealous. The party then decides to have a picnic in the middle of the school courtyard, only to be interrupted by Shirarase. Shiraras then decides to embrace Ma's mom's body, saying she was only taking her measurements. Now it's time for swim class where Ma's scrawny body is on display. Ma knows his mom will be wearing a lewd outfit and regrets having come to this class. He's then comforted by Medi and the sight of her breasts. Medi's mom then comes into the scene showing off her erotic outfit, impressing all of the underage boys at the school. To interrupt this, Ma becomes horrified by what his mom might be wearing, if Medi's mom is wearing something that erotic. She comes running out from the dressing room with a robe covering herself to add suspense and reveals an old school uniform. All of the faceless NPCs rush over and stare at her glory, and Ma feels defeated. Medi's mom is jealous that the high schoolers are fanboying over Ma's mom and not herself. Ma and Medi's mothers cheer for them from the sidelines, wishing the best for each of them. The professor urges them to battle, and all the students jump into the pool to fight all the monsters. Medi takes the lead and starts killing the monsters, to which Wise follows suit, hoping to impress Ma. Ma is still standing around until he realizes he needs to do something to get points. He encounters a massive octopus as his first monster, and kills it with one hit. Porta transforms the octopus leg into a full meal, and everyone just stops killing the monsters to eat. Realizing they're in the middle of a test, Ma gets back into the water and starts a competition with Medi. Searching for a monster, they spot the biggest one, and both swim towards it hoping to earn first place. Medi's mom yells at Medi for giving Ma a chance, while Ma's mom cheers him on with joy. Realizing her mom's words, Medi gives up hoping to bring change to her mom, revealing she doesn't like her mom, and the seemingly perfect family is actually as far apart as it gets. Amidst this, all the monster they were chasing targets. Ma's mom with lewd eyes squeezing her every part with ill intent. Screaming for help, Ma's mom breaks free of the monster's grasp and unleashes an attack against the monster. Ma realizes it's weakened and advances in to steal the kill, granting him the most points. Medi's mom slaps Medi in disappointment, yelling at her for getting only second place. Ma approaches her in hope to comfort her, and his mother follows suit. They find Medi kicking a wall, wishing ill intent upon her, breaking Ma's perfect view of her.